Okay, so now that we've taken the notes, if you'll go ahead and cut those out and glue them into your interactive notebook, that would be great. Hit pause and don't hit play again until you've inserted those notes into your interactive notebook. Welcome back. Hopefully your notes are now in your interactive notebook and we're ready to start talking about and looking at how to factor a number. Now in your notes, the example is to use the number 48. Your goal in factoring is breaking your number down into prime numbers only. So when we look at 48, you guys already know that 8 times 6 is 48. I want you to think, is there any other way to make 8 besides 8 and 1? Yes, there is. 4 and 2. Is there any other way to make 6 besides 6 and 1? Yep. 3 and 2. You see, 8 and 6 are composite numbers. They're not prime. Now, when we look at the factors that we've broken those two numbers into, let's figure out, are any of these prime? Is there any other way to make 2 besides 2 and 1? No, there's not. 2 is prime. Is there any other way to make 3 besides 3 and 1? No, 3 is prime. Here's our friend 2 again. We know he's prime. Now what about 4? Can we make 4 any other way besides 4 and 1? Yeah, we can. It's 2 times 2. And we already know from the work we've done that both of those 2's are prime. So if we take all the numbers we circled, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 2, that equals 48. We have factored 48 and broken it down into only prime numbers. Now, let's look at 24. Now, just so you know, there are lots of ways to break down 24, but no matter how you start, you will end up with the same prime numbers when you're finished. So I'm going to pick 12 and 2. Now we've already talked about 2 is prime, so I'm done here. So I need to deal with 12. Well, I know that 6 times 2 is 12. But you know what? I know that 3 times 2 is 6. And those numbers are prime. So 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 equals 24. 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 is 24. And so we have factored the number 24. Let's do one more example. Let's look at 36. Okay? 36 has lots of factors, so you can kind of pick where you want to start. So 36 is a double. So I can go, okay, 6 times 6 is 36. But 6 is not a prime number because we can get 6 in other ways besides 6 times 1. We can get 6 by using 3 times 2. 3's prime. 2 is prime. And then we would do the same thing over here. 3 is prime and 2 is prime. So 3 times 2 times 3 times 2 is 36. So 3 times 2 times 3 times 2 is 36. That is called prime factorization. And you have used what we call factor trees because when we look at this lovely picture that I just made and we draw around it, it kind of maybe resembles the shape of a tree. So we have factored some numbers. We have used factor trees to factor those numbers. Now tonight, I have an assignment for you. And tonight your assignment that I've sent to your parents looks like this. And you're going to be doing exactly what we did on this video, on this worksheet. One thing I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to go back and watch this video again. I would like for you to put the examples that we did into your interactive notebook. So, you don't really have to put 48 in there because it's already in your notes. But remember, we factored 24 and it looked like this. And so I would like you to put this in your interactive notebook, and I would like it to look just like mine does. I'd like for you to also list this second example in your interactive notebook, 36. I want you to do that because I want you to have something to look at when you pick up and start to do your homework, which is right here. Now you are going to notice that you've got circles and rectangles. The circles is where you're going to put your numbers that are prime. So when we look at 52, let's take a look at 52. And I'll use this lined paper because I know y'all can still see it. So if I have 52, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break it apart. Now this is what I'm going to do. I know 2 is prime. So in the circle, I'm going to put 2 because I know it's prime. Now when you look at this, you may quickly know, oh yeah, 52 divided by 2 is 26. So I have to factor 26 because when we look at 26, it's an even number and all even numbers are divisible by 2. So 26 can be broken down into 2. And what do you think you multiply 2 by to get 26? That's right, 13. Well, 13's prime. No 2 numbers can you multiply together to get 13 besides 13 and 1. And then underneath, you have a section that says prime factors. And I want you to fill in those blanks. 2 times 2 times 3, and it already has equals 52. So, I just did the first one for you. You have 5 more left that I'd like for you to do tonight. On Thursday, sorry about that, on Thursday, I will send you another assignment. That assignment will again be to practice factoring. I'll also give you a freckle assignment, but there will not be a video on Thursday. Eventually, we're going to take what we learned today and apply that to fractions. Please know, if you have any problems with prime factorization today, you may call me, you may text me, or you may email me. I want everybody to be very successful. So have a great math day, and you will be hearing from me tomorrow. Bye, friends.